In the world of video games, hype can be wielded as a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can push a game to legendary status before it even hits the shelves, creating some truly insane levels of anticipation that are hard to match. On the other, it can set the stage for monumental disappointment, leaving a scar on the fanbase that may take years to heal. This delicate balance between excitement and reality is what makes the build-up to a new game release so compelling, and so fraught with potential pitfalls. So in this video, we're going to be delving into the swirling sands of anticipation surrounding Funcom's latest venture, Dune Awakening. Set against the rich tapestry of the Dune universe, this game promises to be an ambitious project that could redefine genre boundaries. However, given Funcom's controversial history with Conan Exiles, a game that, despite its grand ambitions, was marred with a plethora of bugs and janky gameplay mechanics, it's imperative that we approach Dune Awakening with cautious optimism. So in this video, I'm aiming to unpack the complexities of gaming hype and why, in the case of Dune Awakening, it's wiser to temper our expectations, lest we find ourselves lost in a desert of sand and spice. Dune Awakening is an ambitious project by Funcom, promising to deliver a unique, open-world survival MMO experience set in the expansive and dangerous universe of Dune. It aims to blend the challenging aspects of survival sandbox games with the communal and interactive experiences of a massive, persistent multiplayer environment. Players will embark on a journey on the iconic planet of Arrakis, encountering vast deserts, colossal sandworms, and characters from the Dune franchise. The game focuses on survival, exploration, and dominance, offering players deep character customization, exploration of breathtaking landscapes, and engagement in an ever-changing world where water is a precious resource. And as of right now, the release date for this game is yet to be announced. As we look forward to the release of Dune Awakening, it's crucial we approach our anticipation with a measured perspective. Given Funcom's previous endeavors, particularly the mixed reception of Conan Exiles due to its bugs and gameplay issues. Now, I feel like I can speak from a place of authority on this one because I am a big fan of survival games, and Conan Exiles has been one of my most played ones out there, out of all of the different survival games you can think of. I was there on release day, and it was nearly unplayable. The servers were rough, the game was incredibly laggy, and it was just a hot mess. It took the developers months to fix these issues, and to this day, there are still massive problems with this game, specifically with how melee combat is. But we will get to that a little bit later. For now, there is a vital conversation to be had about managing expectations. While the premise of Dune Awakening is undeniably exciting, Funcom doesn't have a very good track record of polish, and Dune Awakening is a much more ambitious game than Conan Exiles ever was. Now, I don't really want to spend a bunch of time talking about the other games that Funcom owns, like Age of Conan, which was a Conan-themed MMORPG. You guys can look at the player numbers for that and kind of see how successful that game was. And then also, they've got Anarchy Online and The Secret World, all three of which are MMOs that are currently quote-unquote dead games right now. In fact, if you take a look at all of the games that Conan Exiles has under their belt, none of these games are huge successes. Now, when I say that, I'm not trying to make an argument that Funcom does not have any good games. A lot of the games that they make are fun, and I would say they're good games. In fact, a lot of their games have pretty good reviews on Steam. It's just that their games really don't have a large reach. I think when you take a look at all the games under Funcom's belt currently, I feel like Conan Exiles is probably the most popular one right now, or the one that's most played. And plus, I also think that Conan Exiles is probably the closest game we're gonna get to what Dune Awakening is gonna feel like. Now, to those of you who don't know what Dune Awakening is, to get you guys up to speed, Dune Awakening integrates the MMORPG and survival genres within a massive open-world setting on Arrakis, challenging players with desert survival, including water management and evading sandworms. The gameplay emphasizes survival, political intrigue, endless exploration, combined arms combat, and extensive character customization. Players start with minimal resources and must secure water for survival, leading to deeper engagement with the game's world, including guild formation, spice harvesting, and navigating faction politics. And one really cool feature that I think is really interesting is the corduroy storms. Basically, the way that this feature is going to work is you are, hanging out in an area and a storm rolls through. Well, after that storm's gone and the sand kind of settles down, that entire area that you were used to is going to be completely different. The combat in this game is going to be a blend of vehicle and personal engagements, with upgrades and spice consumption affecting character development, and they're also going to be introducing a risk of addiction with the spice. The narrative is set in an alternate timeline from the books and the films, so this is going to allow interactions with key Dune characters, offering a fresh perspective on the Dune saga. Now, over the last few weeks, we have seen some popular YouTubers getting a more in-depth look at the game. Funcom recently had some people flown out and gave them a 30-minute preview of basically a hands-off preview of the game, and it seems like a lot of them have some really good things to say about it. However, I do want to point out that whatever they saw was a scripted presentation. It was hands-off, so nobody was actually able to sit down and try the game out. Until we get people to actually spend some time with the game and actually experience how the combat feels, we need to be more cautious with our hype. So for now, all we can really go off of is Funcom's most recent game, Conan Exiles. I think talking about this game is very important, and I believe will serve as a good idea of what we can expect from Dune Awakening. I mean, they have outright said that they copied the base building and the wall climbing mechanics from this game, and they put it into Dune Awakening, so I think it's safe to assume that they're going to be using more than just that in this new game. Now, I will say, out of all of the systems to take from Conan Exiles, the base building, in my opinion, is probably one of the best versions out of any survival game that I've ever played. I don't even want to talk about Ark, because in my opinion, I think Ark is just trash. But I will say the next best game that has a base building feature is probably Rust, in my opinion, and I feel like Conan Exiles building is a lot better than that too. The other really big feature that they have said is coming over to Dune Awakening from Conan Exiles is the climbing system. Now, that is one of the big kind of like key features that I think makes Conan Exiles really fun to play, and I know that sounds kind of contradictory because of this whole video is warning about, how Conan Exiles is kind of a janky game, but Conan Exiles definitely got base building and climbing and a couple of other aspects right. So it's really nice to see that the climbing aspect or the climbing mechanics are going to be coming over, because it's just a really cool feeling to be able to literally climb any single wall in that game, and it's just a really cool feature. But what makes Conan Exiles stop from being a great game are two major issues. First up is the server stability and the combat. Now, before we unpack that box, I just want to say that for all of its jank, I love Conan Exiles. Granted, I don't play it that much anymore. It's still the one open world survival game that I have spent the most time in. I would be playing it more if Funcom was willing to fix the major issues of this game, but it seems to me that they've kind of given up on it and they're just now focused on Dune Awakening. Which is a huge shame, because I feel like Conan Exiles is just one of those like diamond in the rough type games. Yeah, it's got rough edges, but there's definitely some charm to it. And now with them working on Dune Survival and how like similar this game is to Conan Exiles, yeah, we're not going to be getting any major updates to that game. I mean, they do have a team working on Conan Exiles, but I feel like they just don't have the funds or the desire to make these big sweeping changes. Now, getting back to the issues with Conan Exiles, so unlike other survival games like Rust, for example, or DayZ, which can handle hundreds of players on one server, Conan Exiles can barely handle 40. Now, that's the cap on the official servers, and when you have that many people on the server, I mean, yeah, it's the cap, but you still have these really bad lag spikes, and it becomes almost unplayable. Now, this is what worries me about Dune Awakening. It's supposed to be an MMO, and when I think MMO, I think large servers that can handle hundreds, if not thousands of players at a time. So they really need to upgrade and fix these server stability issues, but the fact that Conan Exiles to this day still struggles with 40 players, again, is why I'm worried. The other big issue this game has is the combat. In Conan Exiles, the game combat is about 95% melee. Sure, there are bows and arrows, but they're laughable and not many people use them. Everyone primarily sticks to melee weapons. The actual fighting in this game is a janky, buggy mess, which usually devolves into painful combat attack animations. Fighting against enemy AI is bad, and player versus player combat is even worse. It's not uncommon to see two players literally lag sliding across, missing each other until one person gets lucky enough to hit the other one, and that person dies. There really isn't much to talk about here, but I just wanted to get my point out that the combat in Conan Exiles is not fun, and it just feels really stiff, and I think the netcode with this game is to blame. Which is wild to me, because the game's built on Unreal, so I really don't know what's going on here. With Dune Awakening, there seems to be not only melee, but also ranged weapons too, playing a big focus. So I guess we're just gonna have to wait and see what this is going to actually look like once we get a more in-depth preview of that. Up until now, we still have not seen any actual gameplay in regards to combat, so I just don't know if that's them being deceptive, or they're just not wanting to show us how bad it is, or it's just probably not finished. But if one thing is for certain, it is that we need to actually see some gameplay and see how the combat feels. Dune Awakening is a much more ambitious project than Conan Exiles, and I will admit that the previews they have shown us so far do look really good. They've nailed the aesthetic of Dune, and I think the graphics look fantastic. Now, if you guys have gotten this far in the video, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. I really like this game and I really want it to be good, but I just want to make sure that you guys understand that there is a good chance that this game might end up being kinda bad. I do hope that I am proven wrong by the devs, however. For years, I wanted them to make some really big changes to Conan Exiles, but those changes never came, and if I were to take the white pill, I would believe that instead of doing those changes to this game, they've decided to just focus their efforts on making a better, more improved game, which is Dune Awakening. So now that we've got that out of the way, what are you guys thinking? Do you believe this game is going to be amazing, and do you think I'm wrong here? Or maybe you think the game will be bad? Either way, I would love to hear from you guys and hear your thoughts in the comment section. And one last thing, if you guys enjoyed this video, let me know by leaving a like, and do hit that subscribe button so that way you guys always know when my newest videos go live. If you would like to support me and the work that I do here, the best way you guys can do that is by hitting that join button and becoming a member of this community. I made the cheapest option just $1 so that it doesn't break the bank. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm still Solo, and I'll see you all in the next one.